Gold 3 detergent plus.
Call toll
After the honeymoon.
a funky.
Beat around the track if you get.
Okay, welcome to the new and improved, new Tough Love with Adam and Matt. I'm Adam, he's Matt. We are not live. Diet live. Maybe. Live to tape?
That's kind of like a contradiction in terms, but it works and it's fun.
Yeah, is that an oxymoron?
For sure, yeah.
And I'm not trying to put this on you, but Maddie maybe needs a little buffer. You might need a little buffer, because my whole thing is I like to throw stuff at you.
Yeah.
And I tried, and it didn't go great.
Define great, like
if we were an improv troupe, they would just shut the lights off, maybe. Pull the curtain.
Yeah, restart.
Yeah, not so much yes and, more no but.
Yeah, there's always a but,
Yeah. So listen, I think to be honest, I wanted it to just be a shit show, right?
Yeah.
Like just a bunch of crazy stuff, throw in a bunch of weird ingredients and hope that it, I don't know, makes some kind of gumbo. I think that maybe you need a little more notice or something, because there was a couple of
structure.
Bits. Well, there were. I think you just need like a delay, in the sense that I would try to do a thing, and then you wouldn't feel great about it, and then we were live in front of people, and I guess we could go back and edit it out, but nobody wants to do that. What's the point of doing a live stream? So maybe this just works better to have kind of a safety net. So if you were to, like, I don't know, lose your shit at an idea that I had, maybe with a caller or something, hypothetically, we could just go, okay, we'll just stop, we'll scrap that, and move forward. And then we won't get stuck on the phone with a guy for 90 minutes. It's like, we want to be a team, we want to work together, but we're like two chefs that can't decide what cuisine they're making.
I'm terrible with analogies,
one of them is doing Chinese and one of them is doing Italian. So at least this way, if it crashes and burns, we could just not put it up.
Yeah, but weirdly enough, like I said, when did we talk, this past weekend or whatever? Last time we talked or whatever. No, I'm not getting that vibe. You know what I mean? Just nothing like to that, like.
Well, I also wonder
know,
if that sort of live element of people, in the chat and the needling, and it was maybe kind of not working for you.
I didn't check it live for obvious reasons, but look, I'd be lying if I said I didn't take a gander afterwards, and it's just like, okay, it's like.
I think what happened was you were thinking about how people would perceive what we were doing. I mean, that was what you said in the moment. You were like, people are going to perceive this as there's going to be negative repercussions. And I guess that is sort of like my challenge. I wish it was just like a way I could, I don't know, give you I could just like shoot you up once a month and just fucking turn your brain off. Because I think I realized that you just chronically are, and we joke about you being in your own way.
Oh, for sure.
But I think if you think about anything long enough, it'll become a bad idea.
Or you drive yourself nuts. Yeah.
Well, yeah, I think we're kind of saying the same thing.
Yeah. Yeah, no, there is a way, I know, being a walking contradiction for a variety of reasons, that you can be an overthinker, but be pragmatic about it. where it just doesn't create any negativity anymore because you know how to deal with it. If
Well,
that
I
makes
think
sense.
also you can
Yeah.
just be like mindful. You can like put thought into things
Yeah, for
without
sure.
without it becoming sort of circular and negative,
Oh, sure.
right?
Yeah. Or yes, or but it doesn't. It's not negative anymore. Like I'm very kind of like you know what I mean? Like I don't feel. That's why I've always said. Back in the day, I had a long temper. Now I don't really have a temper. If it would take a long time. I mean, when you're younger, you're a little more piss and vinegar, you know, all that bullshit. But it always like I never really had that gear. I mean, I guess we all have it. Don't get me wrong. But it took a lot for me to get there. Now it's pretty much like non-existent. Again, you do what you need to do. If that energy presents itself, it does.
But I mean, I
I'm
feel
just
like
so,
I saw a moment where like you were not happy with what was happening.
Oh, for sure. Oh, yeah.
I mean, I'm
in
not
that moment
saying-
live, yeah.
I'm not saying that you lost your shit, or I mean,
I
well,
wasn't
I guess I did kind of say that.
Oh, you did, but I did not.
I mean, you didn't lose your shit in the sense that you just were like, I'm putting my foot down.
I just was uncomfortable, basically.
Yes.
Yeah, it just put me in it. Yeah, for sure. Like again, not angry, but just uncomfortable. You know what I mean? It just for all the insane reasons that I'm sure everybody would agree. But just in my head at that moment, at that time, that's just the energy that was in front of me. If that makes sense. Hopefully.
Yeah. Now, do you think without that element, maybe you'll feel better?
For sure. Well, because don't forget, look what we did with the YouTube channel, the 5 previous episodes. I mean,
That was just me asking you questions.
testing.
That was
Yeah.
just an.
No,
I was just like, what the fuck is up with this guy? I was just sort of interviewing you.
Getting a base. No, but for sure. But combining the two, I think the best of both worlds.
Now,
And if you're,
we have. This is a question that I want to pose to you. Is we have over the last couple of weeks found out all the things you do not want to do, the things you're not comfortable with, and the things that you find to be low vibe. And but I want to know, what is it that you would like out of this, and what, like, I guess in all of the no's that I got, I kind of was like, well, what does Matt want this to be?
well, let's not. It's not you're
I'm genuinely curious at this point of like, because I know so many things that you don't want it to be.
Well, again, it's not like you weren't putting out like a baker's dozen worth of ideas, and I was like, no. You know, it's not like everything you threw. I was like, no.
Not everything, but fair amount.
Well, but any specific ideas or concepts, it all just harkens back to I know when I said this, I think I said this off air, but like to do no harm. And I realized that you don't want to do harm, but when I was in my head at that moment, that's where that kind of like just anything that would cause that. Now I know you can't anticipate that, and obviously neither could I.
Yes, but okay. So then, what do you want it to be, or what when you came to me and you were like, "Hey, I want to do a show. I'm a virgin." I mean, you know, initially it was going to be you co-hosting with some kind of sex worker that didn't really work out. But like, what were you trying to accomplish?
Having never had romance in my life, really, or obviously anything related to sensuality, sexuality with anybody, that's been lonely. But other than that, other than those negatives associated with that, my journey's been pretty positive or not negative. And through virtue of that,
You're trying to get out there that there are people that are adult virgins that are not incels, they're not angry.
and I've always seen myself as the best example of that, because I can at least take a joke and I can tell a joke, and I'm kind of like hopefully engaging about this and all components related to it. I think hopefully I've demonstrated that by now.
Yeah, I mean, you don't think that fundamentally me just like being involved, and I don't even know like what the term would be, but we have an interesting dynamic.
Oh, for sure.
Wherein a lot of times I'm like, Matt, what the fuck are you doing? Why are you on the treadmill when we said that at the
I wasn't
gym
sure.
on your phone?
I misread the text.
When you said we were going to actually be on StreamYard and recording, why would I say maybe on StreamYard if I just wanted to chat? Also,
I thought it to catch up, because we haven't talked in a minute.
Yeah, I don't need full audio video to catch up. My thing is if you're trying to do something that's like this positive thing is like, is our dynamic going to be a problem? And I know that this is weird to do on a show.
Yeah.
To be like, is this a good idea? But listen, I mean, we did kind of talk about how we were going to be genuine about what our relationship is.
Yeah.
But if you're trying to make it a positive thing, I'm just wondering if this is the best.
Well,
Basically, your friend who's constantly yelling at you, is that a good
because
avenue for this? The idea was sort of to be rigorously honest with you and try to prepare you for what you want, which is a relationship with a woman, I guess, yet to be determined. We'll just say to be TBD. TBD as far as the gender or category that this you seem to be set on a woman.
Sure, absolutely.
But there's other if there's other things on the table, I think you should explore them. I don't have any other options, but believe me, if there were other genres that I could rally for, I would. I tell you what, I would. I guess that being said, that would be sort of the dilemma, is that it's we called it tough love because that's what it is. It's me being very honest with you. So I don't know if those two things conflict is all I'm asking.
If they do, sure, but there's gold in that. And if there's not gold, fine, but we can explore that. Yeah, that's fine. A, and B, how else do we do this, though? You know what I mean? Playing where you are in your life off of, somebody else that can relate to you. I try to find.
Yeah, it's definitely like we've said, we are the island of misfit toys.
Yeah.
We're a couple of misfits, just in different directions. So
yeah, and that's why I think it can work for sure.
And I think that I overestimated your sort of overall disposition, which is you're the youngest of many siblings, and I thought that you had been big brothered into submission. No. I thought that you were like bulletproof in the sense that you could take anything. And I think what we sort of experienced is kind of like I can say my brother's an asshole, but you can't say my brother's an asshole kind of scenario where I think maybe you didn't mind it so much from me or people people that are rooting for you, but when it came from strangers, I think that's where maybe that was like the bridge too far.
Yeah, well, but I don't want that to be mistaken as tissue paper thin skin. I think I've demonstrated I don't have that at all, and that I can't take a joke and I can't tell.
I don't think that you do. I mean, I've been there. Believe me.
Yeah.
Doing what I do, I've been sort of the guy, and you go, what the fuck?
Yeah.
I don't know you at all. Like we're not that familiar. I mean, I've experienced that in real life with people where you go, we don't actually really know each other. I mean, like I might be on a thing, and so, or like in an email, like I've had people you shoot me like a message or something on Twitter or whatever, and it's like, okay, like maybe you know me, like we have a parasocial relationship in a way, or you have a parasocial relationship with somebody I work with, and I'm a peripheral part of that. But like we don't know each other that well, so
and maybe that's kind of like what surprised me. Okay, yeah. So and don't forget, as the last of five, they were all a lot older than me too. So it's not like I had the next closest was my sister, older, almost 10 years older than me. So you know what I mean? So it's not like they broke, believe me, that's how we show love. And, our family, just this part of the country as well. I remember going outside of the old East Coast, and obviously not everybody always took the my way of kind of ball breaking and, all that. And that always surprised me a little bit, especially out on the West Coast. You know, some stereotypes are true, but all that being said, yeah,
You brought a New Jersey style ball busting to the West Coast?
To California, and you know, I could just tell, like, you could tell right away if you could read the room. Yeah, and people, like, it wasn't everybody. And it's funny where the people that I was most like attracted to just energetically were the ones that were from the East Coast. Now, everybody, I got along fine with everybody. It was fine. But it was the ones that were kind of from the East Coast or had that sensibility that I just kind of like vibed with a little better. But I at least a couple examples. Again, maybe they're not thin skinned, but they're just not used to just that kind of like familiarity or that ball breaking where I'm like, okay. And I don't want to make them uncomfortable. So
now that I'm thinking about it though, I'm trying to imagine you're actually a very nice guy.
Yeah.
And I'm trying to imagine you really busting anybody's chops. I don't really know that you do.
Yeah, well, my own version of it, where it's not like I'm not picking apart somebody's appearance or their politics or their religion or their name, rank, and serial number. It's just like in course of a conversation, if it got to politics or if it got to eating habits or exercise or this or that,
okay,
just whatever it was. This is years ago, pre-pandemic. If there's ever
going
such
after
time.
people's diets.
No, but just as because they would ask like, so what do you eat? And I'm like, well, I'm a vegetarian. You know, I'm that guy. They're like, oh, I don't know how you can be vegetarian. You know, and I'd be like, well, I don't know how you can be a meat eater. And we kind of talk about that. You know what I mean? I don't know how you can eat, you know, but I wouldn't be preachy about it. But I would just kind of break. Yeah. But that was my version of it.
That's your
and
version.
I could tell.
That's you like really giving it to somebody, but good.
In that context. Context. But there are other people that I knew for years that I was creative friends with and friends with that we were breaking each other's balls, and that was fine. Look, you and I, how many times do you and I do it? So you see about how our personal offline
and you have
phone, you know.
So many things that you could give it to me about, just in terms of the amount of things that you are skeeved out by that I do.
But done in a way
on a weekly and sometimes even daily basis. I mean, you really could have just an endless amount of fodder, but I mean, you don't really. I mean,
I don't.
You kind of just make a face
fear.
and you go, "Oh, I can't."
Yeah, I know.
But that's not. I mean, that's just a genuine reaction. That's not.
Yeah. Well. And it's funny that, it's funny. All right, we're talking about it, and that's where I guess I recoiled with the previous iteration of what we're doing now, is because it's just whereas a fan listening to it at work or cleaning at home or at the gym, listen to these absolute friggin' lunatics that are out of their trees, I can listen to it and then turn it off. You know what I mean?
Yeah, because you really you partake or what's consume
for sure.
A good amount of troubling media. I mean, stuff that is really, I mean, you're actually more clued into that universe than I, you know, the kind of the Dabbleverse than I am. But the fact that that doesn't bum you out, because I feel like a lot of things bum you out, and you talk about how things are, you know, a low vibe. You like to assign, you know, a vibe to things.
Sure. Frequency, you know.
I would think that would be a problem.
No, weirdly enough, where again, like some of the comedians I'm fans of, Jim Norton, Jim Florentine, a lot of these guys, all the gyms, no, where that's not my gear, that's not my personality at all, but I think they're funny. I guess because opposites attract. So maybe I'm pulled into, because like Florentine, for example, is very just the angry, ball busty, vulgar, you know, comedian. Norton, his own words, he's a degenerate. You know what I mean? And all the stories, all the things he's done.
Too.
Yeah, to boot. Oh, for sure. I think we're north of me, but I'm attracted to that because it's just so out of my wheelhouse as my character, personality, vibe, frequency, experiences, where I'm just like, oh my God, people like this really exist. Like you
I'm
exist.
still trying to figure out how you like your version of East Coast ball busting, though. I don't actually think that you do that at all. I mean, maybe by West Coast, the man bun standards.
Oh, by those
like
tokens,
whoever you were hanging out with, you know what I mean? Whatever kind of shaman that you were fraternizing with, maybe by their standards, you were like, whoa, that guy is rough.
Well,
but
when I did my podcast from before, a lot of times I got a little pushback where I was too edgy.
A lot
of the things, I was just going to say that. A lot of the things you would describe me as, you could, would, and should. Edgy's not one of them.
No.
But I had that thrown at me from that community a time or two. Now, most of them were fine, for sure. But just a time or two, I got a little pushback because you're just like, whoa, dude, you're being too much X, Y, and Z. And I was like, okay, well, again, I don't go out of my way. And see, that's the thing, too, that really differs from the universe that I'm still a fan of, obviously, and where we learned from what we did with the live streams back in the day. Or there's just a lot of negativity out there. It really is what sells. It's not sex, it's negativity. At least that I see a lot. You look at everything that's on TV, you look at most of the movies out there, you look at a lot of music or listen to a lot of music or whatever, or just a lot of the YouTube stuff. I do not, it's not my algorithm at all. But well, maybe I guess through virtue of, again, the podcast and whatnot, the live streams that I watch on or listen to on YouTube, where some of the stuff that they still try to suggest to me, I'm like, why the frig would I? That's not my. Why are you suggesting? I'm like, not interested, not interested, not interested. Mm-hmm. Oh yeah, I don't want to see the live stream, the live crime bullshit or whatever, the crime bullshit, whatever. People getting arrested, people getting in fights and shit like that.
Okay,
every once in a while, I hate that bullshit. I know I'm going off. Sorry, but when I was in the moment. Weeks ago now, hell, a month plus or whatever. It's just like, holy shit, like I didn't want to be attached to that for a variety of reasons. And again, not that you did that on purpose. That's not you to boot. No. But that's just where I recoiled. And so
we found out in the moment. We found out in real time. And I will give you credit to the situation or whatever. I will be forgiving in the sense that sometimes you don't know how you're going to sort of react until you're in the moment. And in this case, it was,
for sure,
too late.
Too late, for sure.
And I may have been angry. But yeah, I mean, it's like, what are you going to do?
Well, I liked for the first thing that we did, when your friend called in.
You just like a supportive woman calling in to be like, Matt, I think you. So the part you liked was the person that really is pulling for you, that's supportive and is just telling you you're great.
Well, no. Oh God, I'm not that guy. Come on.
But that's sort of. I mean, listen. She gave constructive feedback and her opinion. I mean, my whole thing with that was, this is a person that I know that I think is a woman that you would actually be in alignment with, right? So my thing was like reverse engineer and go, you tell him what the fuck you think he should do, because he's not listening to me. But it's also, I'm not the one, with the feminine wiles. So like you, maybe he will listen. And I think you were receptive, but I also think like, that was like a warm bath. I don't know that is, a show called Tough Love is not going to be me having my supportive friends that saw the trailer calling in to, kind of throw you softballs. I mean, like, whatever, that's fine.
And I'm not looking for that. Yeah, believe me, I'm not looking for that from this, or it's just.
But is there a part of you that wanted to like you almost want to go out publicly and be like, this is who I am? Because I think you sort of came to me and you were like, hey, I'm this guy. I'm kind of a character, quote unquote, circus freak, your words. Very hurtful. But
circus.
But
and freaks, yeah.
Did you kind of have the idea, or I mean, I guess maybe sort of how I perceived it was like you had this idea that you were going to be this sort of underdog that would almost like come out of nowhere, and then you would sort of charm people or something, and which I actually think you would. I just think that is like, that was not, you weren't doing yourself any favors in that situation, because you were kind of taking things a little bit seriously, and it wasn't the right venue, admittedly. But I think if you kind of go with something like that kind of momentum, and you just laugh it off and you don't take it that seriously, I don't think it gives it any power. But it's like, we were messaging back and forth, and what do you think about this? What do you think about that? And it's like, well, I mean, I guess ultimately we learned the hard way, not maybe the venue for Maddie. That's okay. But I will say that during this sort of process, the whole point was like, I'm going to be very honest with you. because listen, I know you talk about it all the time. You talk about how you want to be in a relationship, right? So my whole campaign has been, you got to kind of ramp up. Like, you got to be prepared. But I will say that this is a little bit like a relationship. We're not fucking. We're not sleeping next to each other. I'm not mad at you because your book lamp is too bright and I gotta get up early tomorrow morning. You know it's my long day. And I don't know why you can't just do Kindle on dark mode. But, it's kind of it's like a relationship. It's not a romantic relationship. But with that is compromise. So, like, there have been a few things that have come up, like the other day where, we had kind of talked about, like, from the beginning, I'm like, don't read comments, don't read negative stuff. And then you went and found a negative comment and sent it to me.
That was live on MLC, though.
Yeah,
Just as I was looking at it, what are the odds? Come on, I had to send it to you.
But doesn't matter. I didn't see it. I didn't seek this out.
But right? What are the odds? To me, that was divine timing. What are the odds that I didn't watch the show
Here's
all
the
day?
thing. Your pissed off girlfriend doesn't give a fuck about that. She's going to be
divine
mad.
Timing?
No, she's going to be mad. This is what I'm saying. My whole point is you got to, like, look at the big picture a little bit. Because as I told you, I didn't care. I said, I think I responded, all press is good press, right? But I did say, if you were in a relationship, this would be a 5-hour-long fight. You just sat down at TGI Fridays. She's been kind of quiet. You don't really know what the deal is. And you're like, hey, what's up? You've been quiet. And then she lays it on you. Why the fuck did you send me the comment when I told you don't read this shit, right?
But is that a stereotype? You tell me.
What do you mean?
Of women or of relationships where...
It's not a stereotype. It's just what happens. I'm telling you, this is my thing. And this is what I said in the beginning. What qualifies me? Nothing really. Other than, we became friends and we would have these conversations where you'd ask a lot of questions. My whole thing is 20 of 25 of the last 25 years I've been in committed relationships, right? I've been fighting at TGI Fridays about things. Or, you know what I mean? Conflict comes up. But I'm saying, and I can even tell the look on your face right now, because you're going, that's not going to happen. I guarantee you what you're thinking right now is you're going, but that doesn't need to happen in my relationship. I would be with somebody that they wouldn't bring that kind of negativity. We would work things out. Correct me if I'm wrong. What version of that? Right. What version of that are you thinking right now?
No. You are correct, sir. No, but it's just, I see what you're saying, and I guess I'm not saying that I'm going to be perfect in a relationship or imperfect in general, obviously not, or her, but I just don't see that happening a lot.
Okay, I see it happening constantly based on our friendship, and I'll tell you why. Because you are very subjective. You don't always communicate clearly. And
it's stuck in my head.
Women do not like that. Women want you to listen. They want you to take them into consideration. And so that's what this is all about, which is I don't want you getting knocked around. Like once you do meet somebody, I'm like, dude, you're already starting very late. So if I can prepare you for some of these things a little bit and just at least manage your expectations, just know that if you disregard something that she says numerous times, and again, we're not fucking, we're not in a relationship, but it's still a relationship dynamic where we're
all right. But give me an example that, knowing me as you do, give me an example, like a air quotes real world, a fake but real world example of that. Where okay, now you didn't get mad at me. I just sent that to you, but it's just not like you're mad. Yeah. I'm giving you a direct order. Do not do. You know, it's not like that.
Yeah,
like,
no. And I said that. I gave that disclaimer, which is,
like
honestly, I didn't give a fuck, but I told you. And I mean, listen, I'm doing it half just to be goofy, but
Yeah.
I'm telling you, some of these things that you do.
See, this is where we need it. A woman to call in, like, or just like to or your friend or whatever, because I would be like,
her and I have been in that situation. I have been in that situation with the very woman that you talked to that was very supportive. I'm just saying that the pattern is that if you don't listen, or if you're not taking the other person's time or feelings into account, that's going to wear on somebody real fast.
But I don't see me doing that. I've had many people like comment that I'm a good listener or whatever. I've never really had anybody. You're kind of
okay. Yeah. No.
like,
I'm not saying that you're not a good listener.
Yeah.
You're just not a good absorber of information. So I will have to tell you.
Yeah.
Yes, I will have to tell you things. And I'm also saying, take into account that I'm a very patient person, typically, historically, but you can wear me down at a certain point where I will become impatient, as we've seen.
Well, same.
Right. I do think you have an insanely high threshold for so that would work to somebody's advantage. They would get a lot of grace from you before you blew your top. However, listen, and I'm not trying to speak for all women. I'm just saying I've been in I was sort of a serial monogamist, and like 98% of them were that way. Theoretically, you will encounter someone that is that way. And I just know that you're very quirky and you like things just so. And when people like things just so, it's very tricky. Just you and I and scheduling and just like how you are with your time. It's, it can be an issue at times. And that will come up in relationships. But that's also why I'm trying to get you out into the real world. And so you can kind of get knocked around a little bit because you're going to have to make some mistakes.
This is a version of that. You know what I mean?
I guess.
I guess it's all the dynamic and the context and the situation. But believe me, like I can think of somebody else specifically right now on my radar who I've frustrated on more than one occasion just because of my reticence to engage other people that he thinks I should, but that are sometimes a lot younger than me. You know what I mean?
Okay.
I've always said be in and around the 80s. You know what I mean? We're both born in the early 80s. We grew up in the 90s.
Yeah, but this is just a buddy of yours that wants you to do something. It's just another version of me, basically. Yeah. I mean, I'm a little more understanding, and I get it, and I think that that's good that you're a practical person and you're not trying to date 22-year-old women. But I think that that's what's frustrating about it is you overthink many things and you underthink others.
Sure. But I'm trying to, and maybe even somebody else that I originally worked with, but now became genuine friends with outside, and not just work friends, but genuine friends. And one of her things is she would always kind of be self-deprecating where she's kind of like a dude in a lot of ways, or she's like the dude in relationships for a few reasons. And that was always interesting to me. And we get along through virtue of very much breaking each other's balls. So my version of that, but hers too. Right. And it's a whole thing. I can't even, that's a whole other bailiwick, but suffice it to say, but you know what I mean? Like that attracted me to her as a friend right away, among other components for sure. But I don't see her being the stereotype in that regard. And I guess but I don't know her as a girlfriend or a wife or as a sexual partner. But maybe you know enough. You've talked enough with somebody. You can read the room. You can read the person where you really get a sense of their mind, body, and soul to a certain extent of whatever the context is of that. Like you and me have a good sense of each other. Mind, body, and soul. You know what I mean? Now I'm being figurative in a lot of that, but it's just like we've talked enough. We've been around each other enough. We were developing this. We're friends. We're forging this through the iron. We're forging the iron through the fire is, I think, the right way to put it. Okay. That being said, I'm not good at analogies or euphemisms. That being said, he knew that.
Quantity over quality.
And now, but we're still here. We're still kicking. You know what I mean? We're still doing, you and I, we're still working together. Yeah, but all that being said, and all right, we're talking. You want to be genuine?
Let's be genuine. Be real with me.
All right. Now this is I know. All right.
What's about to happen? I have no idea
No,
where this is
but
going.
This is just where my mind goes.
Please.
Where that's why part of me tends to think of, maybe I don't use twin flame as much anymore, but having a soulmate where we're very much tailor-made for each other.
Yes.
And I think that's why I don't date a lot, or I don't date at all, because I just know that 25-year-old girl that gave me a smile at the gym that my trainer thinks actually kind of like blah, blah, blah. I'm like, fine, but I'm not going to, even if I wouldn't get anywhere, he's like, dude, why don't you try? I'm like, because it's just not, I know the person that I generally want to be with or that I'm soulmates with is closer to my age. Right.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I have no evidence that actually exists.
Granted, you're not wrong.
But we're going to meet, we're going to fall in love, and she's going to love every quirk about me.
No, nothing so cliche, nothing so Harlequin or Lifetime. Believe me, but I guess maybe the relationship that I have with my friend that's a girl, my girl/friend, that she's going to break my balls, and she has from A to Z, soup to nuts, stem to stern, port to starboard. Stem to dorsal to ventral. But, you know, but...
Oh my God.
But it's not done in a malicious way. It wouldn't be done in a way that, like, you know, I don't know. I'm going off, but just all right, take the reins.
There was just so many parameters. Yeah, I mean, it was so, wow.
But I just think it's like that person I'm meant to be with, that I would kind of have that. I would have that relationship too, where we're just honest with each other. And again, it's nothing so Harlequin. Like I say, I see us being, and the stuff that I've written, there is that component. Where we have the same love language, the same comedy, or the same humor, the same way we would just break each other's balls. Again, and I've used examples of people in my life that have that. Like my sister and brother-in-law, for example. Their senses of humor are very similar, and the way they kind of like tease each other.
Here's my thing, is you're seeing just like them at the cookout or them at the first communion or something like that. But all of, like, I guarantee you their relationship was a lot of work.
For sure. And I know that too. Yeah.
What I always tell you is I get that you have this idea that, like, what relationships, they just kind of fall into place. But literally all it is a person that you are very fond of, that you are willing to make a series of compromises for. It's a ton of compromise. It's over and over and over. And that's okay. But you got to find somebody that you love enough to where you're like happy to do it. But I don't think that there's any such thing. And I'm not saying that you're using this term, but what is it that people say? Unconditional. People are like unconditional. No. I think maybe people have that for their children. And so if their children, if their child is Jeffrey Dahmer, they're still like, I love him. I mean, he lobotomizes people with a drill, but I love Jeffrey, right? But I don't think that really, I mean, I think you could still have love for someone. I mean, I still have love for former partners or whatever, but I'm like, I don't want to be with them. I don't want to be around them. I'm not in love with them. So it's kind of, it's one of those things where there's just so much behind the scenes that goes on that I need you to see, because when you talk about it, it's troubling sometimes when you talk about what you think relationships are, because you're very incorrect about what they actually are. It's like you're literally seeing just the front, the facade on the front, and that's it.
For sure. And as much as I know my family or friends and that are in relationships and their partners or whatever, obviously I'm not there 24/7 and I'm not in their skin, obviously. So there's a ton of things that I don't know for a variety of reasons, for obvious reasons. But I still know enough to be able to put it together to know what I like and don't like. I still know my energy, my vibe, how I'm wired. And I still know what I'm going to attract, or what I hope I attract. And I hope I don't attract somebody. I think I would know. I hope I know.
Yeah,
we'll find
listen,
out.
No.
But that wouldn't have an opposing vibe.
The thing is right, it's not about being opposing or whatever the opposite of that is. It's not about that. It's about people having requirements, needing certain things. Maybe they don't always know what they need, right?
Yeah.
And it's happening in real time. And they're like, Matt, I need you to listen to me. I need you to focus.
Like, okay, I'm here. Let's go.
Right. I mean, it's a lot more uncomfortable when you are living with a person, when you're cohabitating and there's, a household involved. So maybe that's like further down the line, but it's one of those things where it's like you're saying you want to just be like a commercial truck driver. You want to wake up with this knowledge and it's just going to, and it's like, it doesn't work that way. You got to take the test. You got to get
for sure.
the certification. You got to go through, you got to stumble a little bit and then you get there. But you have alluded to the fact, and listen, I respect this, that you're like, if it doesn't happen the way that I want it to happen, I don't want it.
I wouldn't put it in those terms where every possibility that I might not see the end of tomorrow. You're happy. We've talked about this before. I don't know if we've talked about it on the podcast, but me being the prepper that I am, me being OCD, whatever you want to call it, or just a writer in me, it's just like I've been dead a million times. I've had my funeral. You know what I mean? Or just not in a negative way. I think you can be very pragmatic and think about your own mortality. So whether I see another day, week, month, year, or 40 years, my dad's 86, will be 87 in October. So I could see his age. A lot of times I don't think I will for a variety of reasons. I think the way the world's going, cataclysmically, I think a lot of us might not, but that's a whole other, save that for another thing. And I am positive, though, if you can imagine. As much as it'll suck for obvious reasons, I guess I have made my peace with it. And not to say that, no, if I can't have it on my terms in a way that I want and my soulmate, Miss Perfect on Mr. Perfect, and if we have a perfect relationship, I don't want anything. I'm not saying that by any means. But I guess I still just go back to, like, this will get on her radar somehow, some way. Or what I'm doing with my series or my other podcasting potential adventures or whatever. Or just, again, in having friends and meeting people and going to the gym and working my job where I meet a lot of people every day, dozens of people.
Okay.
You know what I mean? I think it'll still, yeah. Now, but again, well, Matt, in 10 years, are you going to be saying the same goddamn thing? I hope not. I wasn't necessarily saying the same thing 10 years ago, though. So where I am now, it's like I am.
What were you saying 10 years ago? We haven't known each other 10 years.
No.
So I would be curious, what would you say if I said, hey, Matthew, why are you single? Why have you
10 years ago
never been inside of a woman?
When you put it like that.
Or outside.
Or outside. Or lateral. Just
anywhere
lying down
in
next to
proximity of a woman.
Yes.
When you are like such a romantic. I mean, I totally get it. Like some people are not into it. They're not into people. They're not into relationships or body fluids or whatever.
No, none of that. Yeah, we've talked about that.
You're
none of that.
a guy that like it's interesting because it's a thing that you talk about constantly. However, take no steps to do anything about. Really,
I'm very passive. Yeah.
Well, I just, sad. I mean, from my perspective, it's like you're in a prison of your own mind where you have decided it needs to happen this way. And if it doesn't happen that way, that it's, I don't know, a problem or not fully realized or whatever. So that's just from my perspective. I look at a guy that's way too up in his own head, that lives in a place in the suburbs where there's a lot of very conventional young women
methods, yeah.
Or, you know what I mean? Or that's the thing. It's like, also just by virtue of being a guy, I mean, I've said this a million times, like, it's a lot easier. I think, like, it's right there. I mean, there are people that have ulterior motives, but for the most part, I mean, like, almost all of the women that I've ever met just want a solid guy, a relationship. They'd like to get married. They probably want to have a kid or two. Pretty conventional stuff. when you get into dating men, when you're looking at guys, and especially in a major metropolitan area, there is any number of nefarious sort of motivation. They might just want to have fun with you for a week. They might want to human traffic you. They might want to use you to just get back at an ex.
Yeah.
They might want to trade you up for a younger model in a couple of years. Yeah. There is any number of crazy motivations when it comes to guys that are not genuine. I always say to like any friends of mine that are female that live here, I'm like, my advice would be like, don't look here, really. If that's what you want. Yeah, if that's what you want. Go elsewhere. Or just get a little bit outside of the city. You were just telling me that you looked up today best cities to date in America. Number 1.
Surprisingly, Rochester,
New York, not Minnesota, right? Rochester, New York.
Oh, New York. Yeah.
Medium-sized, cold. But it's there's just regular ass people there that are looking to, you know what I mean? And I don't mean that in like a negative way, but it's just a little more conventional. But I think that's a very long way to say that's what's so frustrating sometimes about, because I know what you want and it's right there. It's times a million. It's right there. But you just got to go out and fucking look for it. I mean, like, and this is where we get into how different you and I are. When I was on the subway, I was scrolling through Field, and I'm not really like actively looking to date anyone else right now, but yeah, I'm just looking because you kind of do that because when you're a guy like me, it's a very narrow pool of women that are okay with a guy that's not monogamous. And he's upfront about it, and like lives with his ex-girlfriend still. I mean, you have to be okay with so many things in order to just like see a movie with me. And I still find a way to meet women. Really, there are just so many women out there that want what you want. And I think that's the tricky part is I'm going, Matt, just get out there, man. Options are not a problem.
No. Just engaging them and exploring them.
But you still you're pretty set on this happening organically.
Yes.
Okay.
Why did I pause?
All right. I guess this is Matt's personal ad. You want to date Matt?
Yeah, and I shouldn't lean too much on that either, but
no, but I mean, listen, and I'm a big fan of just going out and living your life. A watch pot never boils or whatever. I'm a big fan of like just go get involved in a bunch of stuff. But that being said, you also need to be able to kind of like, strike if something comes up. And I think that things come up and you hesitate or you get a girl's number and then you send very confusing text messages back and forth. They go nowhere, and then they go, I don't know if this guy is interested. Or if he's asexual, or if he's just trying to get me involved in a pyramid scheme.
Sell him just some kind of I
don't know if this guy's trying to get me on Amway, Herbalife.
Amway but I know what you mean. I could always give a reason. Like somebody that's kind of on my radar now, but is a good bit my junior. Now, she's 30.
Okay.
But like, and there's other complications associated with it, but it's just like, but it's funny where that's the first thing that kind of, if I get the signs or not, and just for a variety of reasons, but that I'm 14 years her senior, she's 14 years my junior, so that's it's a May December type. Yeah. Right. Yeah. It's not complicated. And I don't know. And again, there are other extenuating. Yeah, you see what I did there. And there are other extenuating circumstances as well, but like that's one reason. I'm trying to think. Somebody else, just there's a few that might, if I would
Okay,
a
so
little
you've
more
got
into that
some
realm.
prospects potentially.
I wouldn't even really call them prospects, but I would call them maybe if I did attempt to, push a little more into that realm. And it's not afraid the fear of getting a no. Again, we've talked about it before. I've gotten no's before. I guess it's not ideal, but a no's a no. Like, what are you going to do? It doesn't. Again, it's not. From when I ask girls out, I didn't really do that a lot in high school, but I'll say, and in really early college, I didn't either. It's funny. I really didn't start. I guess maybe mid-ish college, but I wasn't that. I didn't ask a lot of girls because I wasn't comfortable in the old mind, body, and soul, especially the old,
and I
the old
get
body.
it.
Yeah,
I get it.
Yeah,
I was very afraid of rejection.
No, for me, it wasn't rejection. I just never, because, and I'm not saying I never did, but I'm saying I didn't a lot. And I got no's, then I got some guesses, and I went on a couple of dates, or I went on like a date a couple of times.
I can't even imagine.
It's a whole thing.
I can't even imagine.
I wouldn't want to see myself then either.
The convoluted way that like you actually going for it would be.
And I have. We've talked, like I have, and I've gotten dates, but it's been a long time since I was on an official date. Yeah. So it was ever, so fear of rejection, not a problem. I've gotten no's, I've gotten yeses, I've gotten green lights for dating and for sex even, but I didn't engage them, or at least the sex green lights. But the reasons why I didn't really like go that deep into it is that was before I really engaged my health and aesthetics and wellness and all that. Before I started going to the gym and exercising, really getting into better shape that I know I could do for sure. So that's why. So I just wasn't right in my head. And a woman's going to know that. A girl's going to know that. If you're both 22, if you're both young, you're like, she's still going to know if you're not comfortable in your own skin. And that's not a turn on. That's lack of confidence. So I was like, I don't want to be that guy, as I love to say. I don't want to be that guy or be that burden to somebody to just be all like squirrely and not in the right way, because you can't be squirrely in the right way. And then somebody that I think might be interested in me, but that I'm not necessarily attracted to. And I don't think is necessarily attracted to me either. She likes taller guys. I'm not tall. Now, not that that's a deal breaker per se, but it's just like, it was kind of a work friend that I haven't worked with in a while, for years now. But I know, like, we wouldn't be, like, there's some things we definitely have in common, but, the oomph isn't there either.
Okay, so you maybe do have a couple of potentials, but it doesn't sound like you're going to act on any of these.
No.
I mean, I guess that's at least you're like honest with yourself and me about like, it's never happening.
There's even and this would be a I can't imagine where again I was breaking my buddy, my trader. There's somebody that's just, and I think she's close to our age.
Okay,
and just wouldn't necessarily be your type through virtue of, well, I don't know, like how athletic do you like your gals?
I mean, you can be not at all.
Yeah.
Or, I don't like somebody real toned.
She definitely is. And I have my tastes go back and forth too.
Seems like you probably like a gal that's real fit.
Just, like I've always said, just athletic shape or, yoga girl, I know, again, I try not to sound like a cliche because I like, you know what I mean? But just like somebody that is very much into, and that has those abilities or those aesthetics or whatever. Not a deal breaker by any means. Again, there are plenty of people that I've been attracted to that aren't like curvy and athletic yoga girls. You know what I mean? But this one that I'm thinking of specifically at the gym I train at, she's very much on the other end of that bell curve. And like we actually talked for the first time last week, and my buddy was just
this is just somebody like somebody that's just working out there.
Yes.
Do you have any mutual friends or anything like that?
The guy that I'm friends with and that trains me, I think is kind of like we'll bullshit with her here or there too. I mean, listen. Yeah, I can't imagine. But he made a joke. He's like, dude, you might be her type where she's in a gym like this. And this gym is specifically a meathead gym. And guys are either A, too intimidated to approach her, or B, are the very typical, those cliches. And I don't know if she's single. I don't know if she's straight, whatever she's into, what her X, Y, Z. But just like holy crap, like she really just, and I try not to make it weird, obviously, but it's just like holy crap, and and I can still have a conversation. There's somebody else that that came into where I work and had a really good conversation. I don't necessarily have a lot of time to spend, but we were just like bullshitting the whole time and a great laugh. I believe was Jamaican. I'm going to say because she had an accent. And just like really just
Caribbean.
firing also, yeah, in
Maybe
that realm.
somewhere in
And-
the Caribbean, unless she
Oh.
said specifically she was Jamaican.
Now I forget again my memory, and I sleep like shit, so it's not everything sticks. But I just know great vibe, just beautiful, a little taller than me, but I don't mind. Like I'm not married to that.
Okay.
But she had a great laugh, and I guess I had her laughing a lot, or just enough that
What's
So
got you
that's
laughing?
always what you got you laughing now. So oh my god,
What's got you laughing, man?
Yeah.
She would have
Oh,
loved
and
that. You already had her laughing though, so you had her laughing.
Yeah. And
Okay.
I went out of, and I even did say, for me, now this is me getting out of not my comfort zone, but me saying a little more where I was like, and like, she was like, oh my God, you're so funny. I'm like, well, I really love your laugh. I said something like that. So,
Okay. Wow.
And maybe I could have used
Catastrophic.
that. Yeah. A little more. And, I didn't, and because again, it's not appropriate for a variety of reasons. Now, again, but it's also where do a lot of people meet? They meet at their place of work. So maybe I shouldn't be so uptight about it too. I'm of both minds of that but me.
Listen,
where
I would say, yeah, sometimes it can be a
take the
conflict
risk.
of interest where you're like, yeah, maybe I shouldn't be dipping my pen in the company ink, so to speak. But in your situation,
buddy, yeah, what are you doing?
good God. I mean, I think honestly, you could run it up the flagpole all the way to corporate and they'd probably go, yeah, man, Matt, just go fucking, just
Dude,
do what you got to do, pal.
Take the risk, yeah.
Here's the card. Here's the company card. You take her cosmic bowling.
Oh man,
do whatever.
I was smitten. Yeah.
But yes, that's literally a situation. I mean, like that. I've told you I think my longest relationship to date started that way. It was like 6 years, and literally just a customer that walked in, met her one time, was interrupted. Conversation was interrupted. Very good chemistry. I was like, fuck, didn't get her number, didn't get to go for it. She came back. I was like, all right. I'd never seen this person before, this woman before. And got her number. And, the rest is history. And then, I mean, I'm not going to say it was a fairy tale, but 6 years, pretty good.
It did the
We
math.
lived
That's good.
together. But if you're living your life and you're hoping to meet somebody, that's, yes, attractive Jamaican woman that you make laugh at work. That's it.
Yeah.
You gotta,
Yeah.
you know what I mean? You can let these people, I mean, it's different if you're, like I explained my situation. I can't really do that anymore because
Oh, sure.
I can't meet a Jamaican woman at work and then go, okay, so would love to go out with you, but here's the thing. And then I got to explain to her and she's going to think I'm like a polygamist or something. Like I don't have that option. But I mean, that's what I'm saying is you are in a position where the world is your oyster. And you kind of can have sort of listen, you're also 44 and don't have any dating experience. So a certain amount of people are going to be like, whoa, that's crazy.
yeah.
But, you find a nice Caribbean gal, you make her laugh.
And there's a million ways, and there's at least one other, and this is when I first, at least my latest iteration, same industry, but different components of this industry. She asked me if I worked out. Or she's like, oh, you look like you work out.
Okay.
And I was like, yeah. And the first thing I said, the first place I went to, I said, yeah, I do love my cardio. And I didn't get it last night, or I just went there. I was like, oh, thanks. I was like, but I was like, I love my cardio.
What, you just were a little descriptive?
No. It's just like maybe because I told a couple of the girls that I work with that later on I became friends with or whatever. And they're like, Matt, are you a goddamn moron? Now, maybe that's not that she's totally turned on by me, or she's a soulmate of my dreams, or nothing like that. But it's just like, we never met before, only in each other's presence a few minutes. But I do vaguely remember, now this is a while ago, but good conversation again. Really just kind of like vibing on a couple of different levels, but also keeping it focused on what we're there to do. But there was just that opportunity for her to say that. And I thanked her. It's like, I'm not.
But you didn't take it and really run with it. And I mean, by all means, I totally get it. Like I've been in that situation many times where I've really dropped the ball. And
Oh, for sure.
it doesn't feel great, and you're like, dear God. But a lot of times you can kind of find a way to engineer a different encounter or something,
Yeah.
and you get them next time. But yeah, I would say like when you're kind of and especially if you're not afraid to fail, that's the biggest thing. Is people are afraid of rejection, or you get nervous or whatever. I mean, I still get a little bit like, ooh, it's like the first time all over again. I'm in my 40s, but nonetheless, you get through it, and then maybe you have a relationship with one of these women. I do think, I'm also like in a position, like I could be your wingman now.
Oh, buddy.
Before, I was always in a relationship. Mind you, sometimes an open relationship, but now it's it's perfect because I'm not really eligible for any of this. I can just give you the assist.
Explain it to me. Not that I haven't heard. I know the term wingman, wing woman. I kind of have. I guess I was going to ask you, like, define it. I have a wing gal at work. She's older, but she would kind of like do that for me here and there, and it would work, and then it would fizzle out. Maybe my fault, or just whatever.
Well, you got to go for it. All the wing person does is set you up.
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
You got to do the rest, but they're not. I'm not going to come.
To
standing at the corner of the bed and telling you to thrust. You know what I mean? I mean, I will if you want. It would
get weird very quickly. Yes.
I've been in stranger sexual situations than that. So, but I don't know what would we even do though? Like, where would we?
And listen, I'm Mr. Fate, Mr. Destiny. All right, we plan something as the weather breaks, gets a little cooler. All right, dude, I'm coming up your way.
I don't think we come up my way. I think we go your way because we're looking for local. We're looking for local gals. We're going South Jersey, Philly area.
No, especially I get it because I remember I told you I did this last summer or even before, whatever. When did I go on the speed dating? I think
last summer.
Okay, and then I do still get and those I didn't unsubscribe from.
Okay.
I still get a lot of it is North Jersey or but sometimes it's Philly, sometimes it's right in my area in Jersey. And sometimes it would be like Zoom or whatever. It would be, video dating.
Oh, this is whoa.
Yeah.
They do a Zoom version?
There is speed dating, yeah. There is that option. I haven't really read into it. It's just none of it. Would that be something?
No, I think we go. We wanna fucking show up. We wanna get in the room. Person,
yeah.
Yeah, we're good in the room, as they say.
Yeah, literally. When I get him, a lot of times it'll say half price. We need more men. They know I'm a guy, so it's there's still 9 tickets available for men. Women are maxed out.
Here's what I think we do.
Yeah.
This is what we say. I'm just hanging out. We'll say I'm like your married friend or something.
Yeah, because
I don't want to actually sit down with anybody because
No, for sure.
I mean, unless it's a situation where, it's like I said, the likelihood of women being okay with my particular brand of tomfoolery is you have to go to poly ones. They have those. They have meetups and stuff like that, but they're people that live by a similar lifestyle.
The TLC show we watched, Virgins. Remember that Tantra? Wasn't it Tantra speed dating or something like that in Philly? Yeah, we talked about that. Yeah,
you would be very uncomfortable, but that was a lot of physical stuff.
Oh yeah,
but I think what we do is we book something like that, and then I hang out, and I'm just I'm drinking a club soda, right? And I'm hanging out, and maybe I get a little sauce. Maybe I have a couple of drinks if I want to really be a good wingman, because then there's usually kind of a mixer element to it.
Oh, yeah. Well, especially as the weather changes, I guess. Not like I used to. Believe me, back in the day, I would not get melancholy or anything like that. Be like, all right, well, the weather's changing again, and, it's the fall, and I like a lot of that fall stuff. I love the holidays or whatever, but I've never really spent the holidays, in a relationship with a girlfriend, anything like that. And, it's tailor-made for that in a lot of ways. Those stereotypes and cliches.
Cuffing, they call it cuffing season.
Oh, yeah,
right?
yeah.
Yeah, we got to get you cuffed up.
Yeah,
They even talk about that, all these like speed dating and mixers and stuff like that. They say it's cuffing season. You gotta watch Hallmark movies with your sweetie.
yeah, and it doesn't have to be. I even have a friend. I took my buddy, Nigerian, moved here, South Jersey, now in Texas. Oh yeah, quite the. So the odds of us meeting when we did and how we met are slim and none. And he's younger than me too, and just very much a great guy, very much like a bartender where he could listen to you and give you advice. You know, he was a young Nigerian Sam Malone. You know, so
okay,
dating us a little bit. But we became friends and we're still in contact. And I want to actually do something in I want to get, I guess, get past August. I've been on vacation, like an official vacation, going away somewhere in a decade. And he's in Texas, and I thought, you know, he could show me around there, or I don't know. Like I say, like I also would maybe like to just do something in driving distance too. That, you know, go to Virginia or one of the Carolinas. I don't know. But I want to do something in like September.
So now, are we just talking about vacation?
Yeah, I guess.
Okay. All right. Yeah,
But you never know.
I would like. You know what? I'd like to get away too. I think it's good to get away. I don't know what
You said you haven't.
I don't know how that pertains to anything that we're talking about, but yeah,
I know.
I would love a little change of scenery.
For sure. You know, so could you imagine just the nightlife in Virginia?
Listen, I'm gonna come.
Bethesda.
I'm gonna jump on the SEPTA or whatever, and
Come to Philly, yeah.
and I'm gonna come down to Philly, and I'm gonna get a change of scenery, and then we'll do like the tantric speed dating.
That was just, I just remember that, like, the dude was very awkward and dorky in his own way, aren't we all? Or at least, you know, my group.
We should hang out with that guy. He was in Pennsylvania. It was a little off the beaten path.
Yeah.
It wasn't Pittsburgh.
No, he was closer to my area in Philly.
Yeah.
He was closer to that,
But
yeah.
he was,
Reading,
yeah,
I
he
think
was.
Reading.
Okay, that's,
Reading,
yeah.
or whatever.
That sounds right.
Yeah.
But he was
Ben Salem,
within a little drive of
Yeah.
of
That actually
Pittsburgh.
sounds kind of funny. Reach out to that
or
guy.
Philadelphia. Yeah.
Yeah.
I forget what his name was, but he was a good guy. I'm pulling for that guy.
Oh,
I don't know if they're doing another season of that.
We got to send our preview to them. Like,
Maybe
listen,
we
this
get
is my
you
Asian Adam.
Maybe we get you on Virgins
Yep.
on TLC.
Yeah, like I said, I don't know if they're doing another season.
I don't, and historically, you have not been great with being portrayed in a way that you cannot control.
I guess, yeah.
Reality
The outside
TV
energy.
would probably be a disaster. However, I think
Oh.
you're enough of a character that I don't think they would really need to do a lot. They wouldn't really need to get like messy, I don't think, with the dynamics, because I think you're going to give them enough
To work with. And it's funny, the other, my wing gal at work, she likes the 90 Day Fiance. Now, is that the one where they're outside of the country?
Yep.
She said you should submit to that. She's like, oh, you like Hispanics and Latinas, and you want to go to
the
Brazil
thing with
and Colombia.
that, you have to have a person in mind. Like, they don't assign you.
Oh yeah,
somebody.
I thought that I know too now. But yeah, I didn't know.
They don't
It's
set
like,
you
she
up.
knows my typer. I haven't.
Sure, they don't set you up. But the nice thing about listen, and I know this is probably like in poor taste. We're sitting here talking about like the great thing about ethnic women. But the reality is like, even when you're saying that about like, oh, that's Jamaican woman, you're making her laugh.
Oh, yeah.
I mean, women like that, especially Caribbean women, they make it very fucking easy for you to like, they're very receptive and warm when it comes to, if they like you. So it's not like a thing where it's some cold Nordic woman that you have to like bring her father lutefisk or something to court her. It's like these Latin women, these like they're they can be a little cheeky at times, which is fucking great.
Oh yeah, no,
and especially for like dorks like us, pale dorks. But anyways, I will stop. I feel like I've been lecturing you for 90 minutes now, but it's all constructive.
It's all good, dude.
And it's all just because I don't want to be sitting here with you at 50 being like, hey, it's going to happen,
Yeah.
That would be crazy. I mean, it's already been, I bet you when you were 38, 39, 38, I think. You're 44. And you were like,
No,
it's
dude,
going to
I know.
happen. Right. So, I mean, it's not to say I'm not basing this on nothing.
No.
It's a real fucking, it's a
deal.
problem. It's a real problem.
But I guess to put a pin on it, let's say all the green lights I got, either dating wise, romantic wise, or sexually, that I took, puts me on far different paths, different dimensions, different realities.
One, we're speculating. Did any woman
Sure.
actually say, Matt, would you like to have sex with me? Like, nobody actually said it.
Never verbatim. But that's why I always had the caveat, my perceived green lights. And later on, they kind of indicated, they're like, Matt, why didn't you take...
So they did
Yeah,
confirm.
I've had that before.
All right.
Matt, like, we were kind of, not verbatim, but it's just like, Matt, I was kind of throwing it out at you and you didn't take it. It's like... Yeah.
They weren't
I'm like,
things
no.
that you're interested in. I mean, we did have an exchange a couple of weeks ago where I was asking you about certain things and, would this feel good? Would that feel good? And you just, I honestly was sort of leaning more in the asexual realm. You just kind of were like, I don't get what the appeal of that is. I don't know why anybody would want to do that. And I'm going, well,
Maybe
if you don't feel it, then I don't know what to tell you. It's kind of like if you don't have an appetite, like maybe get it checked out. But the fact that you have this yearning for romance and for connection fornication, it's so strange that you won't go fucking out and get it because it's like you need it to be just so.
Sure, but I was never 80% there, and I can't get that 20%, so I can't have it at all.
You were never
even
even
50 or
you were never even into somebody enough to where it tipped the scale to go,
or where
right.
I can also describe it as, and again, save this for next time because it's definitely something I've put together for the last few years and for different reasons. But you could also call it like an internal governor and an external governor, where there's something that kind of just like, okay, if my internal fails and it's going to lead me to a bad decision, the external's there. Or sometimes the external fails, or it doesn't engage, or it doesn't activate. Now I'm overthinking it, of course, I know. But the internal, it's like, okay, I'm not getting the right vibe. I don't think this is going to lead in the right direction. Pump the brakes. You know what I mean? So I see it as that, where it's just like there's something unseen that just kind of throttles me back when I need it. And if I don't do it for myself, I sometimes think something outside of me does it.
I think does this have something to do with gay stuff?
It put that, I mean, that's, we should definitely leave it there.
This sounds like gay stuff. And we can put a pin in that.
That's when I used those terms with you. And
right.
So
because that seems like it's something, it seems like you're conflicted.
Right. Where, again, I guess tease it for next time, but it's just like, or just not enough. We don't have to dwell on that for that,
I think you should be doing a lot more dwelling on that in overall, because I do think, and listen, I won't go into it. We will put a pin in that, and then we'll pick up next time. But because just knowing some of the things, having had some of the conversations that we've had, I'm like, dude, this is not this is not incidental. And I mean, I think sexuality is a spectrum. I think that people they fall somewhere. I've had friends. I have a friend as presumably a straight man. We were joking around one time, and we have a gay friend, and he just kissed him, just like a real. I mean, we were drunk off our asses, but but he was just like, he went in for it and he did it. He didn't fucking flinch. And I'm like, wow, this guy, he's never really been with a man. He's never been interested. And he's a very progressive guy. He's the kind of guy that would, if he was gay, he'd be gay, right?
Yeah.
And so I have no reason to believe he's repressing anything, but I do think he's on a different place on the spectrum, whereas I am not capable of doing that. Maybe at this age I could, but not with the grace that he did it with. And this was when we were in our early 20s. I think that is that's a place that some people are on the spectrum. And I think you're in a different place. I don't exactly know where, but it's different. It's different. I think you should explore it because I think there's a whole world out there that you've sort of cut off just because you're in your head. And I also think that there could also be a reason why you're not. I'm not saying like, oh, it's because you're like extremely gay or something, but you do have to look at people's behaviors.
Nothing so cliche. Like I said, nothing so cliche.
What does that mean? What does nothing so cliche mean?
Well, because wouldn't that be like, of course. So all this time, the reason why he's a virgin this far into his life is because he's repressing his sexuality. He really is gay. It's so obvious, it's right there. And then he kind of admits he's dipped his toe in a couple of different contexts, in a couple of different ways. Nothing official, nothing, nothing official.
Nothing sanctioned.
Nothing sanctioned, but it's nice to defy expectations. It's nice to get the compliments. It's nice to give the compliments. And it was all very impromptu, but it just didn't
planned.
No. But it just didn't land. It just didn't.
Okay.
So yeah, he's dipping his toe, but he's still afraid because he's really super religious or his family. Nothing at all.
No, I know that's not what I'm saying. I'm just saying you have a form of OCD that is set. It is set to straight. And I don't think that there's any wiggle room there, but I think there is if you allowed it. But obviously, listen, that's another conversation. We'll save it for another time. So,
man,
I had no idea where this was going to go. We're back.
And you were afraid.
It's weird.
You were squirrely.
But you don't mind this. I can call you kind of a gay lord at the end of the show and you're okay with it.
It is what it is. You're breaking balls. Yeah. I disagree, but you can break my balls.
Breaking stones.
No big deal.
No.
Look at that shirt, dude. You like that shirt?
Dude. Yes. We also talked about maybe going to a strip club.
I literally, because I know you and our friend, or he's talked about that place, right?
Oh yes, he talks about cheerleaders, but there's also probably a bunch of we can do some research. We'll make a day of it. It'll be fun. Daytime strip club, that could be fun. Maybe have lunch at the strip club. I think if we kind of get a little momentum going, I think there's something in there that's gonna I think we're gonna wake something up. I think you got that dog in you, but it's just not.
Yeah, and I mean, I guess, and you get stuck in that rut too. And listen, I'm sure that you could say the same thing. Like, we're all stuck in our rut at this point in our lives, especially in our 40s. Like, around plenty of people every day, not a problem. Always, I love to say, I got this from my dad, I'm sure, I don't know where, but always shitting and getting. Always just getting stuff done and, getting after it as the kids say.
And getting. Hey, and by the way, you can drop us a line, toughlovetheshow@gmail.com. If you want to drop us a note. You can actually also now DM people on YouTube. Did you know that? Oh. That's a new function. So you can send us a DM, and then I think we even have have a phone number too. I could give out the phone number.
Yeah.
If you would like to, that is 929-274-4864. If if you wanted to leave a voicemail, you can leave us a voicemail.
Yeah.
That's fun. A lot of ways to contact us if you want to drop us a line.
Well, I was going to say, and I didn't really plug it on the
plug.
Yeah. It's southjerseymatt.com. It's perfect, but just with all my stuff there, all organized there. And I didn't plug it a lot on the live stream. But the live stream got a little messy. So yeah, we covered that.
We're back. We're recalibrated. Dude. better quality too when you're pre-taping. But thank you for tuning in. We'll see you next week. Until next time.
Enterprise
Stay
out.
Shitting and getting.
That too.